Hello. Who have we got here? We got Carter. How's it going, Carter? And we got David. What's up, David? How you doing? All right, fellas. Well, thanks for joining in. Appreciate having you. Today, we're going to be talking about imagery or visualization. Right off the bat, want to hear you guys' thoughts on what do you think of when you think about imagery or visualization? What does that mean to you?
To me, that means like how you see things in your head.
Yep, absolutely. So, how is that related to sports or soccer?
Well, how you think how something's gonna play out versus like how it does in reality.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so thinking about how things are going to go before they happen, that's a piece of it. Absolutely. That's a huge piece of what we're going to be talking about tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for sharing.
Yep.
Carter, anything to add? Okay, well, let's get into it. All right, I'm going to skip this one. So, you guys know I'm a big quotes guy. Love quotes. This one's from Wayne Gretzky, probably the greatest hockey player of all time, nicknamed the Great One. He said that we taped a lot of famous pictures on the locker room door. Bobby Orr, Potvin, Beliveau, all holding the Stanley Cup. We'd stand back and look at them and envision ourselves doing it. I really believe if you visualize yourself doing something, you can make that image come true. I must have rehearsed it 10,000 times. And when it came true, it was like an electric jolt went up my spine. And there he is lifting his first Stanley Cup with the Edmonton Oilers. So, imagery is using all the senses to recreate or create an experience in the mind, just like David said. It can be creating an experience in the mind before it happens. It can also be recreating something that's already happened. And we'll talk more about both of those tonight. So, imagery is something that athletes have been doing for decades. Especially at the Olympic level. So, very high level athletes have been using imagery to enhance their performance for a very long time. I want to tell you about a study that they did with downhill skiers in 1980. This group of downhill skiers was preparing for the Olympics, and they were training on this particular hill that they'd been down, 100 times or so. And so they knew it very well. And they were spending some time using imagery, and they were noticing that just by imagining themselves racing down the hill, it helped them when they actually did go and race down the hill. And so some researchers were interested in what's going on here. Why is this having a beneficial effect? And so one thing they did was they put some measuring devices on the skiers' legs, and they measured their muscle activity while they were skiing down the hill and recorded it. And then they recorded the same thing when the skiers were just imagining themselves skiing down the hill. And they found that the muscles were actually firing in similar ways when they were just imagining themselves skiing down the hill to when they were actually skiing down the hill. So what we can learn um, from this research experiment is that just by imagining yourself doing something, your body actually experiences it to some small degree. So if you're imagining yourself doing something very well, then your body is going to have some experience doing that thing very well, even if it's just to a very small degree. Along a similar vein, there's this evolutionary theory of dreams. So, the evolutionary theory of dreams says that the reason that we dream as human beings is to expose us to threatening situations, and then in our dreams we evade these threatening situations, and then because we've been exposed to these threatening situations, like we think about maybe back in the olden times, for lack of a better term, but like with cavemen, if there was a saber-toothed tiger attack, and they had maybe heard about saber-toothed tigers, or they'd seen one from a distance, and they had a bad dream about being attacked by a saber-toothed tiger, but they were able to fight it off in their dream. Well, then the theory is that um, they were then more prepared. If they actually did get attacked by a saber-toothed tiger, they'd be more likely to be able to fight it off because they had experienced it to some degree in their mind. And so that is just a theory about dreams, because really nobody knows why we dream. It's one of the, just mysteries of the world. Really, nobody really knows. But it's interesting that somebody would come up with that theory. It relates to imagery, because if you experience something in your mind, then it can help prepare you to actually do that thing in real life. So recreating is one way that we can use imagery. We can remember really good things that we've done, like really good goals or passes, or just playing really well. So I want to hear from you guys and see if you're willing to share what's the best goal you've ever scored as a soccer player.
That would probably be for me a couple years in state, back couple years. Uh, it was like a state qualifier, and we were playing Blaine, and I get the ball like directly from the throw in, and I just bang in a volley from like 25 out from a nasty angle. And then, I mean, we ended up losing the game like 2-1, but I still remember that to this day. So,
Nice. That sounds incredible. Is that something that you still think about a lot, fairly often?
sometimes, but like back then, we were playing like 8v8. The fields, like a little smaller. So, like, if I were to do the same thing on a big field, I would be like, wow, but so,
Sure. But how
uh,
does it make you feel when you think about that goal?
uh, wow, what a great player I am.
Yup. Boost the confidence.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for sharing, David. Carl, it looks like you just joined us. You haven't missed too much. We're working on imagery tonight. I'm wondering if you're willing to share with us what's the best. Oh, we have a. Looks like Carter has chimed in via the chat. He said, "For me, it was a few seasons ago when it was our season opener, and I was playing right back. I ended up on the field somehow. I ended up the field somehow. I don't remember how, but I hit a left-footed shot from around 20 to 30 yards out and hit it top corner. From there, I was moved to striker for the rest of the season. Oh my gosh, Carter, that's awesome. So this boy can shoot. Let's get him up top. Sounds memorable for more than one reason. So, Carl, we were just sharing our favorite soccer memories. Are you willing to either speak or type in your best goal? Carl took off his video. So I'll tell you guys about mine. When I was a senior in college, early on at Gustavus, we were playing down there in St. Peter against Bethany Lutheran from Mankato,
Wait,
and we got a
can you
free
hear me
kick.
now?
Yeah, I can hear you, Carl.
Oh, I was talking. I guess I didn't unmute myself.
Oh, no
All right,
problem.
so
Go ahead.
is it right if I still go?
Yeah, you go ahead.
All right, so I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, at a Tonka tournament. I just got the ball at the top of the box, and I just ripped a half volley, just like straight line to the top left. It just felt really nice.
Okay, awesome. So that's the one that sticks out to you, is that half volley against Tonka or in the Tonka tournament.
Yep.
Nice. Thanks for sharing. Okay, I'm gonna save mine because we're gonna run out of time. But anyways, I hit a really nice free kick, just zoomed it like a foot off the ground, right into the bottom corner. It's something that I still enjoy remembering. So the reason I had us think about these and share some of our experiences is that is one way that we can use imagery. Um, Remembering some of the best things that we've done as players can be a powerful way to boost our confidence and boost our motivation. So especially if you're maybe having a low energy day or you're not feeling super confident, being purposeful about remembering some of those best things or the best thing that you've ever done on a soccer field can be a powerful way to use imagery. What we're going to be talking about more tonight, though, is creating. So this is imagining things that haven't happened yet. So I'm going to have us just play around with a little bit of imagery here. I want you to imagine your next game. So think about when your next game is going to be. And then I want you to think about what's the field going to be like? Where are you playing? What's the drive to the field going to be like? Are you going to be with your parents? Are you going to drive yourself? How will you feel when the whistle blows? And then imagine you're starting the game in your position. And then I just want you to spend the next 30 seconds, just close your eyes if you're comfortable doing that. I can't see you guys right now. I've got my screen just shared. So um, if you want to just spend 30 seconds imagining yourself playing in the game and try to use as many senses as you can. So try to hear your teammates or your coach and see yourself and your teammates and the opponent. Try to feel the ball and try to make it as rich of an experience as you can. Okay, ready? Go ahead. Okay, 30 seconds is up, so I'll have you stop. Anybody willing to share what that experience was like? What did you see? Or we'll try to keep it more simple then. What was your experience like? But what did you see yourself doing?
Oh, just stuff I normally do, like bomb up the left side, and then I see like coach just uh, very vocal and telling us what to do, and very passionate and very fired up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's about it for me.
Okay, nice. So bombing up the left side and seeing Carl coaching you guys and being involved and fired up. Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for sharing.
Yep.
Carl, what did you see? Carter had mentioned as well, he's in a loud room, so he's not going to be able to communicate, but he can type in if he wants to share that way, and I'll read it.
Right. So at first it was kind of chaotic. There was just like a bunch of different thoughts like, oh, what are the defenders? Where are the defenders? Where's the rest of my team? Do I have the ball? Just kind of trying to formulate, a foundation of what the game looks like. And then towards the end of the 30 seconds, it started to, you know, it all started to come together. Like I would dribble down the right side, pass it inside to a midfielder, give and go, pass it back out on the right, and I'd cross it in. That's really all the time I had for it. But yeah.
Sure. Okay, yeah. So thanks for sharing, Carl. So it was a little bit chaotic at first, but then eventually you're able to get a little bit more control over what you were seeing in your mind, and then you were seeing yourself play give and go and get it crossing on the right side. So that sounds really good. So thanks for sharing. I'm curious how many senses you guys were able to include. So it sounds like with David, he was able to hear Carl. Wondering if you're able to use your smell or your taste or your touch. Basically, the more you can include, the more rich the experience is going to be, and then the more powerful that imagery experience is going to be for you. So something to keep in mind there. And then also curious to see or to hear if you were using an external viewing perspective or an internal viewing perspective. So the external viewing perspective is when you do imagery, it's like you're watching yourself on TV. And the internal viewing perspective is when you're doing imagery, it's like you're seeing it happen through your own eyes. So for you guys, David and Carl and Carter, if you want to type it in, I can read it out. Did you see it like it was happening through your own eyes, or was it like you were watching yourself on TV? Let's have Carl go first.
Um, First it was internal when I was doing the give and go, but it just kind of zoomed out when I crossed, just kind of so I could like see the rest of the box.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Thank you. And then David, how about you?
For me, it was mostly internal, just where my movement was and what the coach was saying to me, and the where to be and stuff like that.
Okay, so you were seeing things through your own eyes more as opposed to seeing yourself like you were on TV?
Yep.
Okay, cool. And then
Mhm.
Carter, if you guys can't see, he said internal when I was hearing my coach, it was external. So it kind of jumped around. Okay, so that's in line with kind of how things go with this. Um, Basically, there's no right or wrong way to view things in your mind, but similar to using as many senses as you can, if you can try to see things both ways. So, like if your natural inclination is to see things through your own eyes, then try to spend a little bit of time seeing things like you're on TV or vice versa. So, how do we use imagery as a mental training tool? Well, it needs to be two things to really work for us. So, first of all, it needs to be something that's systematic. So, that means it's something that you do before every training session and or before every game. You have a system to it. And then additionally, it needs to get to a point where it's controllable. So, interesting that I had a couple of you guys say it was really not controllable at first, right? Like Carl was saying, it was kind of chaotic. I wasn't really sure how to orient myself within the game. And then it sounded like Carter kind of had a similar experience where things were jumping around a little bit. So the more you do it, just like anything else, the more control you're going to have. But for imagery to be a powerful tool for you, then it does need to be something that you have control over. Okay, so you might be asking yourself at this point, does imagery work? Is this something that people do? Yeah, this is something that people do at the highest levels. It's something, like I mentioned, they've been doing for years. And I found this video actually of a hockey player, Mike Camilleri, doing some imagery before a game, and it led to some pretty good results for him. So I'll have you watch that real quick.
Kids, he's visualizing. He's visualizing. Watch this now. Now look at this. I've never seen anything like this. And watch at the very end, this is a long one, he's looking right at the spot where he shot the puck. See that? He's I hear guys out there doing their sticks and everything. Isn't that something? Whatever he's doing right. Now look at you looking at that spot again. He got that spot down perfect. See that? He's getting ready to just snap that puck like that. Bobby did this? Bobby would be in the dressing room. He would not go out. Bobby would be in the afternoon at 2:30 in the afternoon, getting ready for a 7 o'clock game, just like he's getting ready, not quite as early. But Bobby would do the exact same thing. Now watch, it's that spot that he was looking. Watch that spot. Boom. And he had another great spot with it before. See that spot? That's his spot visualizing.
Okay, so it looked like he was kind of trying to see a certain part of the ice that he wanted to be shooting from. And then I'm not a huge hockey guy, but it looked like he was able to score from that spot and then also get a good shot that got deflected from that spot. So people are doing it. I hope that you guys will do it. I'm trying to kind of convince you here that it's something that has value. There's been a lot of research on imagery. It's been demonstrated to have a positive effect across a bunch of different domains, including golf putting, muscular endurance tasks, basketball. I have not come across a specific study having to do with soccer, but considering it's been shown to have a benefit across so many different domains, I think that we can assume it would also have a beneficial effect in soccer. Okay, so how and when are you going to use imagery? there's several different ways. I have 4 examples here that I'm kind of scooting through because we're gonna pick a couple in a second here with our worksheet. But I'm gonna have you guys do a little bit more practice here. So I had you practice on your own, just kind of as a starter, as a taster of what it feels like. And now this time I'm gonna have you get an experience that's a scripted walkthrough. So this guy, I think he says lie down in a comfortable position. I think it's fine if you're just seated in a comfortable position. And then he's going to walk you through an imagery experience here.
Lay down in a comfortable position. What we're going to do today is this. I'm going to get you relaxed, and we're going to go through a game situation and get you motivated. Close your eyes. Right now, I want you to focus on your breathing. Take a deep breath in and out. Relax. Breathe in and breathe out. Focus on the sound of my voice. If you lose yourself, take a deep breath and return your focus to my voice. Imagine yourself on the soccer field. It's the end of the second half and the game's tied up. It's your attempt to shoot the ball, and the defenseman attempts to block your shot, and a penalty is called. You hear the referee's whistle followed by an uproar from the crowd. You look to the referee to find that you've been awarded a free kick. The sweat drips down your face as you attempt to catch your breath. You feel your heart racing. Your mind is spinning with different options as you place the ball on the line. Look at the ball. Breathe. Focus on your foot striking the ball and placing it where you want it to go. Now look at the goalie. Are they leaning left or right? Pick your spot. Mentally, repeat to yourself the location in which the ball should go. You straighten your posture as you prepare to kick the ball. In a quick sprint, you attack the ball. Swinging your kicking leg back in one swift motion, you strike the ball and watch the goalie dive in the wrong direction. You watch as your ball flies into the net. Feel the pressure lift off your shoulders and the excitement build within you. Look at the scoreboard with joy. The new score is 2-1, and it's because of you. You have been there for the team when they need you most and have led them to victory. Now focus on this motivation you're feeling. Breathe deeply. With each breath out, release feelings of self-doubt and breathe in feelings of confidence. Now bend at your knees and elbows and sit up.
Okay, so the reason I had you guys listen to that and experience that is because it's more of a real situation in a game. What I'd like you to do now or in your own time after we wrap up here is to create a couple of scenarios that are specific to you that you're going to use to do some imagery work. So there's a worksheet here that I've sent out. If you don't have it, you can download it and print it off. Otherwise, you can just write these out without printing it off. You can just view it online. The first piece of this says, what is your greatest strength as a soccer player on your team? What do you do well that makes the greatest contribution toward your team being successful? If you did the goal mapping, you could choose something that was one of your challenge goals and just make sure you implement that in the scenario. So the first scenario that I want you to create is where you're displaying that attribute of your challenge goal or your greatest strength as a soccer player and make it lead to something good like a goal. So try to create some sort of story, some sort of script, and describe what happens. How does it get to you? Where does it go from you? Does it lead to a goal? Do you score the goal? What's going on in the game? Is there no time left? Is it a penalty kick? I mean, it could be anything. Just make it relevant to you and your role in your team and what you do well. And then the next piece is a little bit different. I want you to think about a situation during a game when you're likely to become upset, overly emotional, or lose your cool. So this could be any number of things. Like maybe you get a goal scored against you and they beat you 1v1 or something. It led to a goal. Like you made a mistake that leads to a goal, or maybe you didn't do anything wrong. You went to make a tackle and the opponent dived and they got a free kick and the other team scored. So something that might make you really upset. And then I want you to describe that situation, but then describe how you respond and behave in the manner in which you would like yourself to. So as hard as that probably is, the reason this has value is because if you can spend some time imagining yourself responding to something really bad in the right way, then you're more likely when something like that or that actual thing happens in a game, you're much more likely to respond in that way that you've already imagined yourself responding. So it kind of primes you to respond to negative events in a much better way than if you just go in randomly and let things happen as they may, let the chips fall as they may, so to speak. Okay, and then the last thing I want you guys to do is to commit to your imagery schedule. So it says here, how many minutes are you willing to commit to using imagery before each training session? And how many minutes are you willing to commit to using imagery before each game? I think anywhere between 1 minute and 5 minutes is plenty. You don't need to do more than that. And I had put here, imagery works best when it is used within 1 hour of performance. I think that's kind of a good time frame. If it's within an hour or two, I think that's fine, but that's going to be kind of your prime time there. So can you look at your training schedule and your game schedule, and can you put in your phone perhaps, or some other way that works for you when you're going to do imagery? So remember, if you just leave it up to chance, it's not going to work. It needs to be systematic. It needs to be consistent. So make a schedule, whichever way works for you, that's going to be best. And then put it in there and make sure you stick to it. So that's kind of all I got for you guys today. Are there any questions before I let you go for the evening? Is Carl shaking his head? David, anything from you?
Yeah, if I score a goal based on your imagery, I'll go next time I see you at practice and I'll thank you.
Okay, deal.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for that. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks.
I like it. You're thinking about scoring the goal. I don't like how you said if. I wish you had said when I score the goal, you're gonna come thank me. But
Okay.
we're doing self-talk. We're doing self-talk next session, so we'll work on that.
Okay.
All right, guys. It's Friday and it's getting into the evening, so I'll let you go. But I really appreciate you guys hopping on and being with me tonight. Enjoyed being with you. So thanks a ton. We'll see you guys next time.